Well, I think we've all heard this one before, haven't we? Where they say that they're going to change, but they never do. Or like it never really comes into fruition, right? The promises of change, the I'm sorry, but it never actually really happens. They never actually change and they're never truly sorry. So why say it in the first place? Well, there's a reason for this. There is a huge reason for this and why they say this. And we believe them. Well, we do. We do to a certain point, don't we? We think that this person is going to be different. And in some way, even though they recognize, but it never comes through, does it? It never comes through. And I'm sure that we all know a person like this, don't we? Well, my friends, this is exactly what I'm going to be talking about in the video. Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I hope that you're all doing really well. So these false promises, the fake apologies, the I want to change, the I want things to be different. Yeah, all of this we've all heard before, right? So this is exactly what I'm going to be talking about in the video. And also, how can you tell, right? How can you tell if this person really is sorry? How can you tell whether they're really going to change? Well, there's a few telltale signs, okay? And this is what I'm going to be talking about in the video so that you can notice when someone is saying this to you, but there's no action to back it up. And how long do you wait? Like, how long do you wait in these scenarios or when someone says this to you, like, how long do you hang on for this change? Because, okay, I understand we can't give it days and weeks. Maybe this is something that needs to happen over a longer period of time, but how long do you actually wait? Again, this is what I'm going to be talking about in the video. And also, just one more thing before we get into it. How do you know that you're being manipulated? How can you tell? This is what I'm going to be talking about. Okay, so the false promises and the temporary change. Now, I understand in these situations, whether it's in a work situation, whether it's family, whether it's friends, or whether it's a loved one, there is temporary change. And so I think this is where it kind of confuses us because what we see is that a narcissist or a toxic person or that person literally realizes or has listened to what you say. You feel that they've taken it on board. And they're kind of saying that, yeah, you know what? Like, I understand that I made you feel this way. I really want to change. It was because of A, B, and C. And there is this temporary change, but it doesn't last forever, does it? And this is where we think, okay, well, let's just give this a bit more time. And what you find is you go in these loops, in these cycles of behavior, and you find that these patterns that eventually what happens is this amounts to nothing. So how long do you actually stay? I mean, how long do you put up with this behavior? Because let's face it, it's not making you happy. How do you know if this person is meaning what they are saying? So the first thing I would say is they apologize profusely, like they go over the top with the apologies. And it's kind of like at the time you're thinking, oh wow, like you've realized, like you realize what you've done and you're saying sorry. Okay, but they are profusely apologizing. It's a bit much. The next big one is when they are attending therapy or they're pretending to. And I know I've had this quite a lot, like in my client work, where clients have said to me, oh, yeah, but this person is going into therapy. Do you not think that they would be able to change? Do you not think that over time, like when they attend therapy, there will be some sort of change? Can a narcissist really change? Well, here's the thing, my friends. What therapy actually is being done? Because if you have a therapist, depending on their educational level or what therapeutic modality they actually are practicing, someone can say a lot of things, blame another person. But if that therapist is unable to or not trained to a certain degree or certain level, they're not going to see past what really is going on. They're not going to ask the particular questions, or they're not going to navigate the therapy in order to go to a certain outcome. So what therapy really is being done? Is it that they are just listening to this person, but not providing any feedback, not asking the right questions in order to understand the situation? You see, there's a certain knack to this. The other thing to look out for is when they're becoming really affectionate or overtly considerate. Again, it just feels a little bit fake, a little bit too much. And I feel like in all of these scenarios, I mean, like, I feel your gut or your intuition is not going to let you down. You're going to feel it. Like when someone is going over the top, you're going to feel it in the fact that you're going to know that this is a little bit fake, that there's something behind this, but you go along with it. But I would say in these situations, always listen to your intuition and your gut instinct. But here's the catch. This is not change, okay? This is a strategy. There are three main reasons why narcissists pretend to change, but they never do. Number one, this is to keep control. When someone tells you what you want to hear, you want to believe them because you're in that place where you're thinking, there's certain parameters to this interaction, to this dynamic that you are wanting to uphold. The narcissist knows this. So if they tell you what you want to hear, you're going to let your guard down and you're more likely to believe them because they are telling you something that you want to hear. They want to repair their image. So if you are thinking of them as the bad person, they're going to want to repair that image that you hold of them. Again, it's so that you then begin to trust them. You let your guard down, you let them in. The other reason is because narcissists don't see a real problem with their behavior. They think it's you. They think you're the real issue. So if they tell you what you want to hear, the fake promises, then again, the main outcome is so that you let your guard down and you let them back in. So then you're probably thinking, well, why does it matter to them that you let your guard down and that you let them back into your life? Well, my friends, it's really simple. And this is one reason why. It's because you validate them. You give them what they see. You validate their needs. And ultimately, that's what it is. It's not you as a person. They don't care whether you're happy or you're sad. It's so that you provide them with something. It's kind of like you're providing them with a service. This is all surface level. They don't care about consequences either. So they don't care that they are lying to your face. They don't care because they don't have values and they don't have morals. So the fact is that if they tell you what you want to hear, you allow them to come back in. Mission accomplished. They've got you where they want you. So this is now when you are, in the palm of their hands, they are the ones that are in control. That's ultimately what this is. Because what you have to realize is that real change doesn't happen. There's accountability. True change requires accountability. Take the blame, understand what you've done, yeah? And then change, and then do something about it. But that doesn't happen. Genuine self-reflection. Well, let's look at that. I mean, self-reflection, do they ever kind of say, yeah, I understand that it was like this made you feel like this? It's never about you. It's more about the factors like, well, maybe you are oversensitive, maybe you took this the wrong way, but there's no accountability. There's no consistent long-term behavioral shifts. What happens is it's all momentary. They tell you what you want to hear, and then they go back to being who they are because that is their true nature. They are not changing. That is who they are. And they're going to stay like that. Because like I said, they don't see that there is anything wrong with them. They don't have self-actualization. And they also don't have empathy on how their behavior affects yours. This is something that does not cross their mind. They don't care. So here are the signs for you to look out for that they actually haven't changed. They still blame others for their past behaviors. They expect instant forgiveness, but then they get annoyed when you bring up past mistakes. Their change is only present when they actually need something from you. Then what happens is they cycle back to their old patterns of behavior once they feel secure with you. So my friends, you have to be smart and you have to see through this. This is where education is key. This is about you understanding what manipulation is and what control is. And I know these are big words, but like out in the real world, when you are going through this is what you have to understand. Like, look at what, right? This is the best thing for you to do. It's like, look at what this person is saying, all right? And what they are bringing to the table. Now, look at what you are presented with, their behavior. Not what they are telling you, because anyone can tell you anything. But this is about their behavior. What do they present with? What do they bring to the table? What are they showing you? When someone is saying, I'm going to change, and then 2 weeks later, they go back to being who they were and things are the same way, you're feeling upset, you don't feel valued, then that really isn't change then, isn't it? And it doesn't matter how much time you give that person, they're not aware enough to be able to sustain this over a longer period of time. Listen, I understand we all make mistakes, but the difference is, like, when me or you make mistakes, we're genuinely sorry about it. We genuinely want to change. We don't want to hurt the other person. We don't want this to affect another person so negatively. We genuinely like, okay, we made a mistake. Like, how do I fix this? And you're going to do everything in your heart, in your power. Your intention is to fix this and to change, but not this person. It's all surface level. It doesn't mean anything. And that's what you have to look at. It's the behavior. Consistency is the key here. Consistency. Is this person being consistent in their behaviors and what they're saying to you? Are they showing up for you? And if they're not, then this isn't real change. Remember, a narcissist isn't going to change if you love them more or you give them more time. If you give them more unconditional love, they're not changing. They are stuck, rigid in their ways, in their patterns of behavior. So this is what you have to realize. This is what you've got to consider, is all of these things as a whole, not just on their own. I know that you would want this person to change, and I know you'd want them to be different. I know that you'd want this to be different and better and for this to work. But ultimately, you can't go into fantasy world, into fantasy thinking, okay, because you're going to be hurt. Ultimately, the key point is here is that you're going to be hurt, and that's not fair on you. Okay, it's going to be great for a couple of weeks, but then this person, once they know they've got you, they're going to be that same person that they were before. You're just going to keep going around in this cycle until you are completely drained and cannot give any more. And this is where you've got to realize that this person isn't about change, isn't about evolution, isn't about growth. This is where you've got to take that control and realize that this person is just telling you what you want to hear. And that is the difference between a genuine apology versus a fake one. So, my friends, if any of these points have resonated with you and you would like to kind of discuss this a little bit more, please know that I do offer one-to-one consultations. Please see the description box below. I've also got a mentorship if you are interested, where I post in there literally every other day. Please see the description box below for more details. Guys, if you have enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye.